Welcome, survivors. I'm SurvivalVis, and I'd like to start by welcoming you to our latest series for the channel, Subnautica. I love this game. The developers behind this game have easily been one of the best studios I've ever had the pleasure of playing a product of. Subnautica has captured both a nice, contained survival circle of sorts, like what resources you go, get the thing, and go further, and then you start that again. That plays very seamlessly, and it also has a great narrative behind it. One of the things I've said about survival games is that the survival aspects work really good as a backdrop for a story you're trying to tell out. The Long Dark Wintermute easily showcases that, and Subnautica is another one that is so good in that as well. But enough of my loving and ranting aside. As you can see, I have played before, but we're going to go through a whole new series with it right from the very start, because soon enough, we'll be probably covering Subnautica Below Zero, the sequel that's in early access right now. I don't want to play that quite yet, just because I don't want to spoil myself, sort of like how I did with the original game. Subnautica, there was so much focus and following on its development that you kind of knew a lot of what you were going to come across before it happened. And I think the game would be so much better if I could have somehow avoided that a bit, but I just loved it too much, so I'm being a little more self-aware and stopped myself there. But anyway, that aside, let's hop into a new game, and we are going to, I don't think we'll do hardcore just in case, but we'll just do regular survival mode. Just the way it was kind of meant to be played, and just hop right in and enjoy it. It's just, I've always loved Subnautica, right from its even earlier builds with it. I think it's because it's the few games that, although it is underwater survival, it doesn't feel as, say, challenging to be underwater as, like, underwater isn't an obstacle as much. At the start, you do have the oxygen as something to worry about in depth, but I guess the best way I can kind of put it is think about, like, say in Raft. The water is, you have to go down there, but it's really a huge barrier because you have to fight the shark or throw that off, and only the islands you can go to start, and it makes a lot of build-up that you have to do so much that it becomes a barrier to actually being able to play. Subnautica, as long as you just build an oxygen tank, you can go to a nice depth and you slowly build and grow and just get yourself the tools necessary to kind of, I wouldn't say seamlessly progress, because there are little obstacles you need to overcome, but you will slowly build out and adjust. Oh, and here we go. Any button to continue. Let's do that one.
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship. Launch in 3, 2, 1.
There we go. Simple, short, but right to the point. Oh, and there's the dubstep. I forgot that's what kind of greeted you right at the start. There we go. Let's get this all down and off. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize it had a little chime to it.
You have suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome. This PDA has now rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Please refer to the databank for detailed survival advice. Good luck.
Yeah, so there's our little welcome into it. We don't quite need anything there, but let's just head on up and show you guys, well, the little Skyray, I think they're called, just greeting us. Oh, isn't...
The Aurora suffered orbital hull failure. Cause unknown. 0 human life signs detected.
I was just looking around at our surroundings, but isn't that imposing? And you don't think the ship's that big because of just the distance away. That's one of the things that Subnautica Capture 2 was proper scale when you started to move around a bit. But anyway, let's get in here. Yeah, I might as well take a first aid kit and see. Okay, right, anything in here to start with? Not particularly, although well, I guess we could have a nutrient block. Let's get ourselves started there. Okay, so first thing is going to be a repair tool. So for that, personal tools, there we go. Silicon rubber, cave sulfur, and titanium. If you first play the game, you're probably going to run into the issue of where does cave sulfur come from. Oh, little rabbit ray there. But here we are, into the water. Oh, and we'll grab our first peeper. We're going to be probably snacking on quite a bit of these guys while we're in here. But I just love the design behind everything in Subnautica. Like, the animals, I was just going to say just fish, but actually we don't really know if they are just fish. Ooh, an egg. Well, nothing we can really do with that yet. I might as well grab a few others. Bladderfish. Ooh, rabbit ray poked right into us.
Alien life forms may have unexpected applications. Utilizing alien resources is a proven survival strategy.
Okay, there we go. That stuff kind of cleared up a little bit. Subnautica, I just love for how wild, but also reasonable they went with all the creature designs. Like, things like the boomerang here. Actually, I should check and see, because we're right at the surface. Let me open up the data bank on... Oh, no, don't have anything we can go through yet. So we'll probably have to make the scanner first, but... They not only created the creatures to be alien, but they also had the logic to create how they biologically function as well. Like the reason for the peeper's large eyes, or the rabbit rays coloring, and the bioluminescent. That's something that, if a game manages to capture that... Oh, there's something we can start with. If a game can capture that and spend the detail to properly go in and explain how their organisms kind of are... Ooh. Uh-oh. Alright, I forget we don't have that much oxygen to start with. And where I said it was a barrier, it's... If there is one, it's a really minor one like that to begin with. You feel like you can really go around. Is that something, or... Oh, okay, maybe just some barnacles. Oh, might as well pick up the Gary fish. That's another little thing to keep with us. So cave sulfur will be our first priority, and we're going to get it in just a moment. If he just... There we go. Yeah, so cave sulfur comes from these little pods of sorts. And with that, we got that in order. I think that's the only one you ever really actually need in the game, except unless you have to make another repair tool. So we got that. I think the only thing we might need are... What are they called? It's the vines, the kelp. I'm trying to remember what it is. Something vine. Let me go back in here, make a knife quickly, so that way we can cut some of those pieces off. And just get ourselves a little better setup. Okay, here we go. So, tools. Oh, knife we need silicon rubber. Right, and that is from creepvine, I think they're called. Yes, creepvine. Don't know why that was so hard to come up with. Or, I mean, to come to. I guess it's just because how long it's been since I've played. But yeah, creepvine, very good that we're sort of in like a middle hub zone. I know you always start kind of in this area.
Structure, bodily fluids, and internal organs, thus rendering them safe for human consumption. It is common for those accustomed to synthetic foods to be repulsed by eating an animal carcass. Remember that humans survived this way for millennia. You can too.
Yes, Karen. So she's just given us that there. We don't really need anything else there yet. We will get an oxygen tank, though. That will... There we go. Already added over half of what we started with, so that's good. We need the silicon rubber. So for that, we need creepvine seed clusters. And those we can get right over here. Okay, we will mine the stalker down there, because there are carnivorous animals on the planet. And they will not be hesitant about enjoying a little bit of a snack that consists of you. So, good idea just to mind yourself as you're going along. And another nice thing about Subnautica is that it didn't want to give you a real proper weapon. So that way, instead of how some survival games go where you're basically slaughtering the ecosystem, here you're basically just trying to survive using nature provided and not really change the planet too much. So, let's get some silicon rubber made up. Make as many as we can because we have a few things we need that for. Okay, that should probably do there. Maybe we'll make lubricant with some of them too.
Lubricant is essential in construction of vehicles and power.
Yeah, so that'll be something that'll come in later, but let's see. High capacity, the fins we could use. Let's start with the tools though. Get ourselves that repair tool and the knife. Yeah, we've lost power. So while we're letting the solar panels recharge our little thing here, let's start repairing this up. There we go.
Secondary systems online, running full environment diagnostic and outputting results to databank.
Okay, yeah, so this is a little overview of how the escape pod's doing. This will probably be your home for a while until you kind of get yourself a little better situated. So, status is okay, secondary systems are online, outgoing radio is offline, however. Incoming is online, though. Flotation devices deployed, we are floating, thankfully. Hull integrity is okay, environment. We are on uncharted ocean planet 4546b. It's an oxygen-nitrogen mix for atmosphere, and waterborne bacteria levels are high. And that's still processing a new med kit to make, but we'll fix up the radio. Oh, and we have a message.
This is Aurora. Distress signal received. Rescue operation will be dispatched to your location in 9 hours. Continue to monitor for emergency transmissions from other life pods.
So we're basically stranded here, although we might get other escape pods giving us notice about them being out there too. For now, actually... Oh, right, I had to wait for the fabricator to recharge a bit. And with that done, let's give ourselves the fins so we can swim a little better out there.
The fabricator draws from available data to provide environment-appropriate equipment using locally available materials. For your safety, this setting cannot be overridden.
Yeah, it's basically saying you're loaded with this and we're not going to give you anything
Weapons
else.
were removed from standard survival blueprints following the massacre on Abraxas Prime. The knife remains the only exception.
And there's your little lore reasoning for why there basically is a knife but nothing else for weaponry. Apparently...
Detecting increased local radiation levels. Trend is consistent with damage to the Aurora's drive core, sustained during planet fall.
Yeah, so what our AI there was basically telling us is when the ship crashed, the drive core in it... Ooh, actually it got really dark really quick, but let's show off all that beautiful bioluminescence. The drive core for the engine has a rupture or a leak, so radiation is spilling out of that thing. And that will become a problem in a little while. Oh, actually you can sneak up on people when it's sleeping. You can see the eye actually close. I'll take another bladderfish or two so we can make some water. And I'll head back in just to see what our next objective will be. Let's quickly make some water out of that. So one thing I do want to make is the scanner. So we need batteries. So resources, electronics. Battery. Copper ore and acid mushrooms. Thankfully, we saw a lot of the acid mushrooms, and they are a little bit bioluminescent, so they're easy to go after. So might as well get a horde of these. I heard that. I think the second one was a gasopod, but I don't know what the first sound was, but Subnautica can give you a bit of a horror game feel, like, especially at night. Everything is rather dark and... Actually, that sounds maybe like a reef back. It's been a while since I played the game, but some things are immediately recognizable coming back into it. So, we'll drop all this off, well, as much of that as we can. Actually, you know what, I better eat all this while I have it. Just because it's probably going to go bad in a little bit. There we go. Okay, so... we'll want to go looking around and see if we can find more ore deposits to break to get the copper. But we don't exactly have a light to be able to do this too easily. So we may have to wait for morning to come along before we can really start finding stuff. We can actually see the planet's orbit around this one, or this one orbiting that one. But it just... Subnautica is one that gets you so well immersed that you really feel like you are in this world and on... Oh, some acid mushrooms. Uh-oh. I don't like that sound. That's because those guys, when they blow up or they detonate, they can hurt. And a lot of sounds I've never actually heard before. Maybe it's because I'm playing the game through headphones for the first time, but... it's a good thing that I'm... okay. Well, I say I'm okay with what Subnautica might throw at you for a horror vibe, but to be honest, I can still get this crap scared out of me depending on what happens. We'll just collect what we can. And we'll probably have to wait till morning. But this is one of the series that... as soon as I was thinking of launching the channel, I knew I had to do a series on Subnautica. I had been wanting to put it away until I knew a little better when they might be finished with Subnautica Below Zero. That way I could kind of flow one into the other. But I figured, with how things were going, and Don't Starve kind of ending as it did, or pausing as it did for now, I wanted to hop into Subnautica and give it a proper little go-through and show it on the channel. Get ourselves those titanium pieces. Don't know why my voice decided to die there like that. I don't think there's any equipment we need yet. Nothing for the waterproof locker. It's all going to come down to basically... where is it? Getting the scanner, because the scanner is your little gateway tool of being able to get more recipes to use. And that battery, it is just going to be that copper that'll be a problem. Well, we can always just climb up here. Oh! We got morning! Perfect. That's another nice thing, too, is... the night, it can limit you until you do have... ooh. Hello? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, did not mean hello to you. No, ow. Okay, took a little bit of a hit from that there, but we'll sneak in and steal that. And I don't hear any others in here at the moment. So... ah, crap. Nice.
Detecting sulfur deposits in the local cave systems. Sulfur is an essential component
There we
of
go.
the repair tool. Copper is an essential component of all powered equipment. Your probability of survival has just increased to unlikely, but plausible.
So the AI has a great outlook on our survival.
30 seconds.
But yeah, I think the developers even had to add that little hint in because people might not have been sure where to try going for the cave sulfur. So that's in order there. We got one piece of copper, so we can make the scanner. And with that little milestone, I think that'll be a good point to call this first episode here. There's a battery. And there is our scanner. And with that, we open up a lot of possibilities.
The scanner can be used to synthesize blueprints from salvage technology and to record alien biological data.
And we can do a self-scan of ourselves. Everything's looking normal.
Scan complete. Vital signs normal. Continuing to monitor.
Okay, so let me just use up that health kit. There we go. And have another drink. Okay, so with that done and in order, I think we'll leave this very first episode of Subnautica here. Thank you all for joining me on what's going to be a very great series, and I'm just so excited with it. Subnautica's probably going to be running alongside Dino System for a while, so the SurvivalVis channel is definitely living up to its survival title. Until I see you all in the next episode, though, please remember to take care and stay alive.